Welcome to the latest edition of Inside the Arena, Sweetmore's live sessions. We're live from the Crown Oil Arena every single Thursday night at 7 o'clock. We release a brand new video of some great acoustic music here at the Crown Oil Arena, and it is all brought to you by Rochdale Football Club and our friends at LLH Films. Now, our guest for this week's edition is a friend of mine who I've known off the music scene for the last few years. He's one of the most dedicated and respected musicians in the Greater Manchester music scene. He's also the frontman of one of the most talked about bands at the moment, Flechettes. Today, though, he's here for us at Rochdale Football Club, the one and only, some build up that, innit? Jack Heaton. Jack, how you doing?
Nice one, Dave. Cheers for that introduction there.
No problem at all. It's great to see you, and thank you for coming down, joining us today at the Crown Oil Arena for Inside the Arena. You've come down acoustic, you're from the Flechettes, but for people who aren't familiar with you and your music, tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been playing, and so on.
So I've been playing for about just coming up to 10 years, if we're taking it like serious playing. My dad behind the camera there up the top, he's always been into his music and always sort of I latched onto that sort of early, but never really had the skill, you know, to do it. So when I was about, I think it was about 10 or 11, I got in a band at school, and we could only play like a few chords, but over time that just became the one thing that we all wanted to do. And you've met Will from the band. He was one of the lads that was playing with. So we've been playing together on and off now for nearly 10 years. So as for me and you, that was mainly born out of Independence in Wigan, which is hallowed ground, if you ask me.
Absolute legendary nightclub. You mentioned the band Flechettes, which is who you're with now. You're the frontman, singer-songwriter for the band. But before that, you had a few years, this is when I first met you, going out on your own as Jack Eaton.
Yeah, that was a period of time. I'd just turned 18. What happened was I came out of this other band that sort of fell apart. And the choice basically was go solo or pack in. I didn't want to pack in because I felt too passionately about music, and it just wasn't something that I wanted to do. So I sort of went on my own. And basically, when I turned about 18 and I could start going out and stuff, started coming in indie, and you was one of the DJs there. And very quickly, it was like you could tell that there was not a calling for sort of artists, but there was like a gap where you could make something, you could have your own stamp, and that's what I wanted to do. Go.
You became a well-known and respected musician in your own right, like you say, around the Northwest as Jack Eaton. When did the point come to decide to form Flechettes as you are now?
So I just turned 19, coming to the end of my first year of uni, and it was quite clear at that point that maybe you needed a band to back your music up, you know. And Jake Dorsman from Stanley's, also good friends of ours, he was saying that Johnny and Nicky, who play lead guitar and drums for us, were looking for a band. So me and Will were a unit. We'd been together, like I said, for a long time at that point, and ads are there on the other side. So we got together based off what Jake said, and we'll see if we make something of it. And immediately it just worked.
And what about the name Flechettes? Where does that come from?
So I study military history, BA War and Society at uni, and I was reading a book about the war, and it just came up. It just jumped out at me from the page. It was, you know, it's one of them things. People say that, but they don't really mean it. But it was, because it was like an odd word, you know. And it basically means, it's French for dart, that's propelled by, you know, a shotgun shell or whatever. And I just liked the way it looked. I thought it'd look good, you know, on like a lineup or whatever. Because I'd seen the Independence once when you had Rocktober the year before, and you can tell I'd done my homework. And it had the darts on this book, like a picture. And I thought, yeah, that'd be a good band name. So that's what we went with.
It is a great name, but today at the Crown Oil Arena for Inside the Arena, you're here in your own right as Jack Heaton. Tell us the first song you're going to do for us.
So the first song I'm going to do is a song called Apple of My Eager Eye, and that's off the first Flechettes single, In the Mood. It's the B-side.
Let's have it. This is Jack Heaton.
Well, tonight I plan on sleeping until you decided to call. But I was right to keep myself from repeating empty words and waterfalls. But don't worry, the stars are stuck on the ceiling. They won't fall down, I'm sure. If only you begin to see a heart cast in stone, pointing a gun at me. There's no script at the back of your lips, you see. There's no tapes or directors and reshot scenes. How many times have I told you, leave the magic on the silver screen? Got a firework kind of stardust floating around your chair. You got a milkshake kind of temper, looks as though you'd melt with a sterner glare. I reckon by my watch in 50 years time, when the young are the ones in the casket line, we'll be stuck around and we'll be doing fine, doing fine. I told you that your time is the sweetest, and I told you that I need it. But here I go again, pinching excuses from now and then. One day I'll know what it means to love, to give, how to receive. But don't place no bets on me. How many times have I told you? Nice one.
Sounding amazing inside the arena, bringing you some of the best music from the Northwest. Frontman of Flechettes and much respected solo artist in his own right, Jack Eaton. Jack, what about your influences and the band's influences? You know, you mentioned 10 years ago you first picked up a guitar and stuff, but who were you listening to as a kid back then? And, you know, what have you found yourself listening to over the years?
Well, I can see the old man giving me a look that a lot of it started with him because I grew up on Status Quo. Me and my brother were always fed Status Quo. He actually told me that he was in Status Quo, and I believed him. And I went in school and said he was on tour with him. He was in Prague on a stag do. So, you know, I've always grown up with rock music. But as I got to sort of maybe about 16, 17, it was interesting. That's when my taste really sort of changed, because all through school I'd been into a band called Don Broco, I don't know if you know, and Mallory Knox. They've broken up now, sadly. But the thing was with that was that I got to about 16, 17, I left school, went to college, and then obviously, you know, you're sort of too young to go out, but you're out drinking every weekend and everything. And I sort of latched onto like indie music then. I never got into Arctic Monkeys until I was 17, which a lot of my friends, they were in it, you know, in school and stuff like that, and I just didn't really interest me at the time. So more recently for songwriting, because I was about 17 when I started, I kind of think it was a lot of Blossoms really. And I know you're smiling there because you know what I know.
We're going to talk about that in a minute.
So lyrically speaking, a lot of it is very Blossoms inspired. But more recently, sort of the last couple of years, I've really gone into like Radiohead and stuff that I wasn't really bothered at. Queens of the Stone Age. Bands that really me a couple of years ago wouldn't have been interested in listening to, really.
You're going to do a cover for us in a minute, and I know it's a Blossom song. Now, I'll be honest, I've known Jack for quite a few years, and out of all the bands, he's the biggest Blossoms fan in the world. I remember being in Stockport a few weeks ago and driving past Blossoms pub, which, you know, obviously the band are named after, and sending you a picture and stuff. Why Blossoms? Why Blossoms? What do they mean to you?
How long have you got? it was like at the time that I started listening to him. And the funny thing is, the year before I was about 16. A mate of mine had said, "Oh, come to I think they was playing at Deaf Institute or something. In fact, it might have been the Ritz. I think it was the Ritz." And he said, "Oh, come watching Blossoms as a spare ticket." And I didn't go. I don't know. And I remembered the name, and I got into him. It was a really weird thing that got me into him. It was like, sort of breakup type thing, and I just sort of everything that on the first album that sort of Tom was writing about lyrically was sort of parallel to what was going on, and not just in like what was happening, but also the sort of the scenery that he paints with the words. So that sort of led to me latching onto that. And I think from that time, I would have been about 18. I went to uni. Obviously, in Manchester, you go up 42s or anything like that. There's always Blossoms on. You know what I mean? So that was a big thing as well. It was. I was already totally in love with it by that point, but it was sort of something that I actually, people knew that, didn't they? People knew in India. You always ask for Blossom, G. And you know what I mean?
Do you know what? I love how passionate you are about music, and I love how passionate you are about a certain band as well. And one of my favourite things about when you go to Stockport is as you drive into Stockport, there's the big sign, "Welcome to Stockport, home of Blossoms." You open one day, it'll be, "Welcome to Wigan, home of Jack Heaton and Flechettes."
Well, I mean, it'd be nice. I think it'd be nice if really the council had sort of like all the notable bands now in the area, so like Stanley's and Lathams, if they had like a collective sort of sign,
I think every town should do that, Rochdale included. It'd be great.
It's like the Greater Manchester music map, innit? When you see it and it's in the shape of the county, and it's like got Oasis on one side or whatever, and 10cc on the other side of Stockport and stuff like that.
Anyway, tell us about the cover you're going to do. It's a Blossom song. Which Blossom songs are you going to do?
I'm going to cover Blossoms, Blow 'em Rose, because that's your favourite one.
It is my favourite Blossoms track, that. Let's have it. This is Jack Heaton with his cover for Inside the Arena, the Blossoms classic, Blow 'em Rose.
Made my wish a rose, covered in old spangles, beside a river froze. Felicia, I miss you, the stately homes of England, how beautiful they stand. And lately it's a lonely love, I know. Lone rose, go. My wish a rose, wrapped in desire, she cries, let me know. Felicia, where are you? The stately homes of England, how beautiful they stand. And lately it's a lonely love, I know. Lone rose, go. I'm aching with you, we're breaking, I bleed. Don't go easily, my love. Felicia, the stately homes of England, how beautiful they stand. Lately it's a lonely love, I know. Blown rose, go. You say you don't feel it like I do. I'm so lost when you say you don't feel it like I do. Crawl into my heart, blow rose, blow rose, blow rose, blow rose.
Inside the arena, Jack Heaton with his take on the Blossoms' classic Blown Rose. So Jack, going forward with the band, it's looking like we're starting to come out of the pandemic now. Gigs are starting to happen again. You lads are off on tour, Flechettes, with This Feeling, who are without a doubt one of the greatest new music promoters in the country. You lads are off on tour, courtesy of them, aren't you?
We are, yeah. Mikey and George at This Feeling have done so much for us during the pandemic. And for them to, I think, and I don't think it's said enough, I think it's a matter of trust that they put in us, because it's their name on, as well as it being us, it's their name on that tour.
As far as new music goes and club nights go, there's no one better than This Feeling in the country. Noel Gallagher said it.
Yeah, I agree. I think they definitely know great music when they hear it. I would say that. Not specifically like us or anything, I don't want to come, but I mean like with bands that we know, that are friends with them, obviously Stanley's, they're involved, Garden Party, good friends of mine. So it's amazing to see so much guitar music coming back, because I think we've had about maybe 5 or 6 years where, or maybe even a short 3 or 4, years where it's not been as popular, and all of a sudden it's just back.
It's an amazing music scene. We're covering the whole of the Northwest here in Rochdale for Inside the Arena, but no one can deny what a great scene it is in Wigan at the moment.
Absolutely, I agree.
It's frighteningly 100%. Good.
It's one of them things. I think that it was waiting to happen. Excuse me. I think it was waiting to happen because there was just too many bands in one place for maybe one of them to not get massive, and then obviously the Lathams went to just a different planet.
It's almost like, Liverpool had the Merseybeat scene.
Yeah, I know what
we
you
had
mean.
the Manchester scene, and it is almost like it's Wigan's time now, isn't it?
Well, I always look at it as like Sheffield had its explosion, with Arctic Monkeys in the mid-2000s. Obviously, you had Arctic Monkeys, who were leading the charge, but then you had like acts like Milburn,
Little Man Tate, Reverend and the Makers.
yeah. Richard Hawley. Yeah. They're all from Sheffield. And I always say this is something I've never actually thought about till literally just now. One of the biggest bands in the world that's not an indie band, Bring Me the Horizon, they're from Sheffield. And you know what I mean? That's like the flip side of that scene. So like Alex Turner is in indie music like revered. So is Ollie Sykes in that scene.
Tell us about your tour you've got coming up in October. Where can people find out more about it, and where you're going?
We're playing in Manchester, Off the Square, Liverpool, EBGBs, and we're playing in Leeds, finishing off in Leeds Lending Room. You can find tickets at thisfeeling.co.uk/Flechettes. See, because you're saying slash, and then it's sort of a dip for your tongue to get around, But basically, you can get them online. I don't think they're doing physicals, with everything at the minute. So it's get them online. You can get them from our bio. There'll be a link in any of our socials to find them.
We'll give all the details out for your socials at the end of this little film, and we'll put them on the screen as well for people to see. You can do one more tune for us. Is this a new song or?
Let me get closer. It's one of the older songs that we have, and it's something that, because I think we've done, especially with Man of the Hour and Chasing Youth, they were quite heavy driven songs.
Man of the Hour, by the way, is Jack and his band Flechettes. You will have heard it a lot on the video clips here at Rochdale Football Club. It's been used for a lot of the things that are going on at the moment. It is a great, great song, and can't wait to hear more new music from you. But the last song you're going to do, what's it going to be?
It's an old song of ours called Promised Land.
Let's have it. This is Jack Heaton.
What can I say to keep you sweet? Sometimes I forget the way you used to kick the world, to stand next to my feet. Fortune's won and fortune's lost, always in the back of the fast lane, unknown you were the answer to my precious pain. For a second then the times of old return, the time before before I had lessons left to learn. But I still yearn for fingertip lullabies, and I miss those hourglass goodbyes. Your smile's a fiver in a pile full of pennies, and I hope you notice karma's been a long time coming, and I just heard it pulling outside. Now I can't hide. You make me run 1,000 miles an hour, blistering sun, at a pin drop at the top of the tower with you. You pour water on the flames, you put them out, but don't raise your voice. Well, what have you got left to shout about? I never know where I stand. I never know if I'm standing on the promised land. But I'll give you a call, 'cause all I know is 45 different ways to say it all. Say it all. If only love was like crossing the road, looking left and right. Instead comes a car and it's the end of the show. Away into the night you go, you go. Why do you always go? Oh, oh, oh.
Thank you very much.
Inside the Arena from Flechettes, that is the brilliant Jack Eaton. Jack, just remind us once again what that song's called.
That song's called Promised Land.
And plenty of your music is available on all the usual music platforms.
Yeah, if you just search Flechettes on Spotify, but you know, we do get, because it's quite a weird name, we do get people saying Flechettes, Flechettes, we've had Flechettes, we've had that.
We know as for Flechettes, and somewhere on the screen round about now, there will be all the links to find your band. But thank you so much for joining us today, Jack. Good luck with the future with music and with the band as well. No problem at all. You have been watching Inside the Arena, Sweetmore's live sessions, brought to you in conjunction with LLH Films. Thank you for watching and thank you for supporting new music. We'll be back with another edition, same time next Thursday night on the official Rochdale Football Club YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you're in a band or you're a singer or you know someone that is and you want to get involved, email me and we can get you on one of these. dave.sweetmore@rochdaleafc.co.uk. But once again, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. And once again, a massive thank you to the brilliant Flechettes frontman, Jack Heaton.
Thanks for having me.